Hello everyone and welcome to another I Pick My Butt video. We're playing more Rebel Inc. We're going to be doing Distant Steppe with the Tank Commander on Brutal. And just to show you we'll be using no advisors today, just so when you go to play it, it'll be that much easier. Now I gotta say, this one took me a couple of tries. Alpha Sierra is where I like to start out, and District Representatives is always the first thing I tend to do. But Alpha Sierra is right on the main highway there, so we're going to go right into infrastructure there on the right, and we're going to open up highways. That'll really help our troops advance around and kind of get the speed going for them there. Now, like I said, this was incredibly difficult. I tried a couple of different ways, but this seemed to be the way to work for me when the insurgents really focused on the right side of the map there. I also found that doing services discussions and doing water supplies, along with a bunch of the other initiatives in that kind of general area, are huge for this board, especially playing with the Tank Commander. The main thing I'm trying to do for the first part of this game is get a zone stabilized, because if we don't, the reputation just starts plummeting right away. And by doing Outreach Office, well, that's really going to speed up those initiatives on it, and we'll go through, do medical supplies, and we really need to focus on what our inflation is, because we need to save every single dollar we can to utilize on this board. And because money was something I was having such an issue with, I did want to go in and do NGO, and when it did pop up, we're going to choose the money selection on it there. It does mean a couple extra bucks. It may cost $7 at first, but over time, it will save us and make us money. And as you can see already, this is kind of a slower kind of attitude of having the game here. School regeneration, we just did that. Once again, that's $13, $5 there. We could get those for $1 cheaper if we just wait a little bit. Now we do have a notification. We can't just reject this. We do need to approve it. So technically we did lose $4, but that increased support really could help us out. And one thing I always like to do is universal justice. It doesn't really seem to affect inflation at all, so we'll spend money on that. But going back over to the civilian tab, I just started doing this one. I found out a little bit more that literacy drive doesn't affect the inflation either, and that does help out also. So here's the NGO one. We're going to do the funding only, and this will give us some extra cash as we're going throughout the game. Now you just saw the notifications for the insurgents, and keep in mind, if you ever see any notifications at all, pay attention to them. They really are going to lead you on what to do next. We did spend money on PR media. That's going to give a huge boost to the support, and we really want to try to keep that support. So unfortunately now the insurgents did pop up in a land area. We can drop a tank on them. What I was trying to do is prolong the amount of time that I was going to use on those coalitions, because they do drop the support level. And the faster we get that first zone stabilized, the faster we're going to do better on this game. Main roads is one that I want to do too, because as we branch away from that highway, it will make a little bit faster time to get the troops over to those areas. But right now we're just trying to push those insurgents around, and we really want to try to find that rebel base, because that's where they're coming from, and if we can get that demolished, it's going to really cut down on the insurgents. And if you are having trouble on this board, well, don't feel bad. This literally took me about 20 times. I don't know why I had so much trouble with this, but this board is a pain in the butt, and the fact that the Tank Commander is utilizing so many tanks on it, it really makes it difficult. And in case you didn't see it, we did do Advanced Driving Class, which was in the bottom left corner of the military tab. That's going to keep that tank from destroying zones and decreasing the zone level in them. And to get some extra support, we're going to do the Strategic Communications. That, just like PNR, is going to give a huge boost to the support, so we can hopefully stabilize this first zone. I know I keep on saying it, but I can't say how huge that really is to have that support on the first zone. So let's pop back over to the civilian tab and do a couple more initiatives. We really need it for that support. So we'll go in, I think we'll do the sanitary one, and we also need to do that main roads I talked about earlier. That's huge. Like I said, main roads, highways, it really seems to help out a lot on this board. And once I see that first zone stabilize, well, then I can start dumping the money in those extra coalition troops. The national ones, they take forever on it, and if you wait too long, they're just really going to start crushing you on this, having those multiple zones connected, and it's going to help on the insurgents' combat bonus, which means we lose. We don't want that. Corruption is getting a little high, so we'll do the anti-corruption, and I think we're getting pretty close to stabilizing the zone here. We need to get that tank onto that main city. If they take over one of those, we're really in big trouble. As much as I want to just start dumping money into the coalition troops, we do need to get the national one to open up the tier for the garrison tab. That is going to be crucial on this too. They're kind of like having extra troops that are just going to be stuck in a zone. But with the tank commander, even the general too, I love using the garrisons with them. Now one thing that I've noticed, and I'm not sure if you guys have with the garrisons, if you go and reject the spot that they want to put it, it seems like they just keep on trying to throw it in that same spot. So I'm at the point now where I'm just going to spend the money to put the garrison wherever they suggest, It used to seem like it bounced back and forth, and you could kind of say, hey, if I reject it here, maybe I'll find somewhere else. Not the case. Let me know in the comments below if that's a glitch that you guys are seeing. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel too. So here's the first spot for it. Last time I tried it, reject it, it just kept on popping up right there. So that's where it's going to be at this point. We got to get them out of that main city there, and look at, we're really starting to stabilize some zones. They only have 4 areas at the moment. I'm feeling really good about this, and my reputation, 93, that's really freaking huge for how this game is going. So we'll spend some money on the interpreters. That's really not too much, but intel quicker, increase local support, and I really want to get some zone security going. So I'm going to go back into the government tab, and we're going to do that local militia, I think it is. That's going to open up the next one there too. Well, it's actually open, but local police militia. That really is going to kind of keep those zones safe and keep them out of trouble. Like I said, this took me several times. It was never this smooth and easy and this self-contained, so you might have to just play it a couple of times until you get that one lucky one. I feel like this board was a ton of luck for me, and I'm so happy that I beat it. So let's get a drone on this now and see what we can find. I knew there was a rebel base there. Now, we could spend the money on the coalition, but I think to make all you guys happy, I'm going to do airstrikes on this. Everybody's always complaining that I don't do them enough, but when you see a rebel base out there, this thing's really going to take it down. And let's just spend the money, $21. That is a lot. Let's get the air tank up here, and bam, there goes that rebel base. Like it wasn't even there to begin with. Now we got that out of the way. Let's get some coalition troops on things finally. Try to back one up with the other. We got the garrison there too. And let's try to clear out some of these zones now that we actually have intel on them. In case you don't know this already, when backing up troops, tanks cannot support other troops. And when you put your troops in a zone that's grayed out, well, they're also not going to be able to support them. So make sure you have the intel on there. Make sure it's at least highlighted, but definitely not gray, because they're just going to be sitting there like a dead duck. And now it's really just a matter of kind of containing these guys and trying to block them from going any further west. We do get another garrison pop up here. We're going to just spend the money on it just so it's there if they do start creeping that way, like they are trying right now. But really, we need to get these things out of the way, and this is just going to be a matter of keeping our troops around, gathering more of them, and then just kind of pinpointing them and squashing them. So for being 7 minutes into the game, we are sitting very well on stuff. They are going to get the notification in a second here for counter-striking, and that's where we're going to spend the money on foreign relations. And that'll give us the middle tier to kind of open things up. We just saw a notification there. That's for Gulf Blitz. If anybody hasn't checked that out, look at my videos. Real fun game I've been playing. But there is the notification there. We'll go click on that, and like I said, that's going to be, do we want to counter-strike? You saw that middle tab is grayed out, so we're going to go into Government, Foreign Relations Office, and that's going to open us up. It will give a low percentage of like 2%, 3%, but over time that will grow. We're just going to choose it so we don't have to spend the money. We're hopefully going to get that airstrike on that rebel base up top. Now I really want to get our national troop, but we're going to spend money on corruption first just to get that down, because it is creeping up kind of high, and then we can see where things sit and get back into it. So we do have a whole bunch of support. Look at all those lines all over the place. That airstrike just took that out, and now you see here we kind of have a good wall sitting here where those guys are not going to get out and around to us. And you see there we now have the option for peace treaty, 57%. It's dropping down to 47. Watch this. I just got denied on it, and that's happened a couple of times to me, which I want to slap myself when it does, because usually something below 70% is pretty successful for me. We're really starting to pinch these guys. We'll just have to wait for that to pop up again. We'll get another coalition going here. We'll try to throw it down the bottom right hand corner and get these guys to kind of push up to the top right, and we can self-contain them up there. Man, those airstrikes, cover them up. I really probably should use them more, but they're just so expensive. $21 is just insane when you can use so many other things. We just sent the tank home. Now we'll get that other tank going. We really don't need them because we're just fighting in the mountains at this point. So let's see if we can smother this down here. Cover that one up too. I'm usually good for covering anything up that's below 10%. Anything above that gets a little risky, so be cautious. Now we're at 53% on that. Let's give it another second and see if that peace deal goes down. But we're kind of just sitting here waiting to see what happened. Those guys are really being a pain in the ass down there in the bottom left. So more anti-corruption just to kind of contain it a little more. We're stabilizing more zones, another garrison, and you're kind of seeing how we're building that wall. Let's see, 44%, let's try it. Awesome, there we go. And I gotta tell you, I probably could have gone without doing the piece deal on this at this point, but I had lost so many times on this board. I was so frustrated, I just wanted to be done with it. There's really not a lot going on, so we probably could have just done the middle row all the way on the piece deal here, but I don't like giving everything into the insurgents, so I did choose some of the right, and then that caused insurgents to kind of pop up all around, which, you know how that goes, it's just a pain in the butt. So you kind of get the hang of how I did this here. If you haven't already, like I said, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Hoping that they'll come out with another update on this soon. I know a lot of people are getting kind of bored playing this. I've kind of dialed back on it just to kind of pace things out because I do love this game a lot and I don't want it to come to a short end and kind of forget to come back to it. But this is how I did it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If this worked for you, how many times it took you to beat this, and if you have any other ways to know that might help other people on this, post that in the comments too. But I appreciate everybody that's watched this far so far, and all I can say now is I pick my butt.